Good morning. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Just
Namaste.
waiting for Dr. Rajan to join us.
Suprabhatam. Good morning, everyone.
Welcome. Namaste.
Namaste.
Just left a voicemail for him. Very unlike how he's calling. Hold on. Let's give him a couple of minutes.
Namaste, Rajan.
Namaste, Dr. Rajan. Namaste. All yours.
Any questions, anyone?
Namaste, Dr. Rajan.
Namaste.
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 Please ask your questions. We need an icebreaker.
Oh, okay.
So,
So,
Pratipaksha Bhavanam.
Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Pratipaksha Bhavanam is essentially to think about what will be the consequence if you did something. So, the whole concept of Pratipaksham is really to take an opposite point of view. What if?
That didn't break the ice. And the rendu sutra probably you may want to 233 and 234. You want me to bring up the sutras, Dr. Rajan?
Sure. In the Yoga Sutras should not be read as one sutra at a time. It should be understood as a essay or where each sutra follows the other. So the reason why that is very important to understand is, unlike the Brahma Sutras, which were written for a different purpose, the Yoga Sutra is in a different category. Actually, that is very much true of all the ancient sutras except for the Brahma Sutras. The Brahma Sutras were written in order to knit the message of the Upanishads. And so Brahma Sutras cannot be interpreted without reading the Upanishads, and each sutra over there refers to Upanishad. So the Brahma Sutra is written in a very special way. Unfortunately, what has happened is scholars have tried to look at the Yoga Sutras and other sutras the same way that they have looked at the Brahma Sutras. So, Vitarka Bhadane Pratipaksha Bhavanam, the idea is that if you let your desires carry you in a direction where you want to fulfill your desires without consideration what are the consequences of it, then you just want to give a moment and ask what will be the long-term consequences. So so that is all that Sutra 33 is about. And what that Pratipaksha Bhavanam is more elaborated in 34. That is by questioning that what that action you're thinking of can be whether it can be something that will cause pain to others, or you're sanctioning it for yourself because of your the intent being that of greed, anger, infatuation, and it would lead to, whether in small or medium or in excessive quantity, the unhappiness that would come, and out of that, and of course lack of understanding, and all of these will come back as your fruit. That understanding is the Pratipaksha Bhavanam. That is, you take what will be the consequence of it, the consideration of that. In fact, in the chapter 2, that is not the most significant sutra. Actually, if you look at the areas related to the concept of this Kriya Yoga that is there in the beginning, and if you look at this, the description of Yama and Niyama, there is a lot more significance in the in chapter 2.
Is this the two sutras you explained, Dr. Narayan, is related to more of a modeling for each time we have, or it is more of a fact explaining that what you're especially around when defining the whole, if your thoughts and actions are against what your Swadharma is, you will lead into the karma klesha cycle.
Yeah, you're hinting on that correctly, but the thing is, look at it in a couple of different ways. In one way, if you live your life in an unlicensed behavior, that means you're doing anything that you feel like simply because you're enjoying it, or it has some value for you, it is giving you benefit or whatever, without consideration of the consequences, then that will come back as karmas for you. Now, the thing is basically, karmas are formed only by your reactions. But then what happens is, when a person has not reached a stage where they are fully discriminating about their action. And when does that happen? When the person is not a regular meditator and they don't understand Swadharma, then in which case you don't have discrimination over your action. Then what happens is you behave like a common person. When something happens, and if there is a negative consequences, you have regrets over it. The regrets is what causes the karmas. So the point about, I think the discussion was about the point of niyamas, right? Go to sutra number 30, 31, 32. Yes, actually 30, 31, 32 is about Yama and Niyama, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the concept of Yama and Niyama in this particular context is in the preliminary stage where the person has not yet had the high level of meditative connectivity and does not yet have the, what do you call it? Does not yet have the intuitive sense of what their Swadharma is. So this is the early stage. So in the way in which it has been portrayed over here, Yama and Niyama here is at a stepping stone stage. So here you need to lead a regulated life. A person who is not in a yogi state, who only understands their, who think of it as their, who can understand the Swadharma, that person will no longer have any reaction to any actions they do, because they see it as Swadharma. Whatever happens, I have nothing to do with it. I am only an instrument. That understanding is not there. That is why at the stage where Sutra 33 and 34 are mentioned. However, later down in the description of Niyama, Patanjali Muni tells you that Niyama alone, Ishvara Pranidhana alone, can lead you to the highest experience of yoga. Samadhi Siddhihi Ishvara Pranidhanat, Sutra number 45. So what happens is, all of this, the statement you see earlier about 33, 34 is only till the person has not reached a level of internal understanding of Yama and Niyama, of one's Swadharma. And once they understand that, then that doesn't apply anymore, because whatever you're doing as an instrument without reacting. But in that stage over there, people are driven by their own internal sense of desire in a worldly manner.
Yes, yes.
Actually, the way that 33 and 34 are sandwiched between, before he starts the 5 yamas and 5 niyamas, is to probably the Pratipaksha Bhavanam, from what our earlier class I understand, is how this Yama and Niyama process can be put on a hold because of this unwanted feelings.
That's right.
And that is why this Pratipaksha Bhavanam, those two sutras are right there.
The key element is, if Yama and Niyama are not observed, you cannot make progress in yoga. The sum substance of Yama is, you have to be true to your conscience. And the the summary of your Niyama is, unless you have regulated living. Regulated living means you're sleeping about the same time, waking up about the same time, eating meals about the same time, the same kind of whatever you eat. Unless you keep that regularity, what is going to happen is, the meditative potential of yoga will not blossom. And why do we say that? Because what happens in meditation is, at each point in time, if you look from morning to night, your vibrations, your thoughts and your orientations are all changing. In the morning, you feel one way, like 3, 4 in the afternoon, a different way. When you're ready to go to sleep, different, right? You can sense the differences. So at any point in time, we are a bundle of vibrations based upon the underlying programs that are working within us. Anytime you do meditation, it's an equal and opposite vibration that shuts it down and evokes a cosmic connectivity. The equal and opposite vibration is called harmonic vibration. And the evocation of cosmic connectivity happens through now we are going into a scientific zone of physics. Harmonic vibrations result in the creation of what is called scalar waves. Because vibration ceases, it creates the connectivity which are called scalar waves. Once the scalar waves are established fully, you're no longer connecting into the 3-dimension. You're going outside this dimension into another dimension. And once that connection is established, you can implant intent into the scalar waves. Scalar waves are connecting like this, and any intent goes around it. It is like the scalar wave become the carrier of the intent. The intent can be a question. If you ask a question, you will get back the answer. So that is how the samyama happens in samadhi.
So the way I understand scalar waves is as in radio they say, in radio transmission they say carrier waves. They just carry information from one to the other. So information actually rides on the carrier wave. So
Is it similar to that ripple effect in the water when you drop a stone?
No. It's interesting, you mentioned that, Vishwasundar. The key is normal waves are like ripples in the water. In other words, they spread in all directions. Whereas scalar waves don't go in every direction. Scalar waves only go in one direction. Now, what happens is, if you think in terms of laser beams, okay?
highly
Laser
polarized.
beam, yeah. So laser beams have 4 types of what they call as coherences. The 4 types of coherences, if you think over here, the waves normally are going like this, right?
Yes.
In a laser, you want all the waves being emitted going exactly sitting on one on the top of the other. And the emission should not result in waves going in different ways. So it's not only sitting on one another, there is no, the waves are of exactly the same frequency and wavelength. And the orientation, like it's not one wave is going like this and the other wave is going like this with the same wavelength and frequency. No, they have to ride on top of each other. And the direction where they are oriented has to be exactly the same. So in physics, they say, like there are 4 types of coherences. I cannot remember all of them. Spatial coherence, temporal coherence, directional coherence. What else? One more. So now what happens is so that is now in radio wave transmission. There are, without using all the 4 types of coherence that is available in laser, they can use 1 or 2 types of coherence, and that will improve the quality of communication. So any case, so we have to understand you're in chapter 2 over here. It is really in chapter 3, the process of meditation and what happens will be discussed over there. The interesting part is the role of Yama and Niyama. It serves both as a beginner in yoga, and also Patanjali Muni clearly explains in Sutra 45. Niyama alone, Yama and Niyama alone can take you through the whole path of yoga for that highest realization. When he says that, this will give you a little bit of insight into the families that you all come from. If you look back when you were children, of course, in this modern internet age, everything has changed, all of that. But if you look back, in the common households that we've all come from, there is a full routine in the family. And the routine has within it a full understanding. Life is more than, running to work and getting things done. There is like first thing that will happen in the morning is at some point early in the day, a lamp will get lit in your altar, and members of the family, they will go and have a shower or a bath, come out, and then first thing they will do is put vibhuti or whatever in their forehead or the puttu, and then they'll come and do their namaskaram over there, and only then they begin their day, right? They may even do something, some families will do something more elaborate. And the same thing at sunset time, the same thing, you light the lamp again and you do the same thing. And so, what you're doing is you're always reminding the existence is for a greater reason. And what happens is, within the kind of families we grow up with, there will always be moderation. Like I have heard my father say, if he sees somewhere anything, trouble or whatever going on, he'll tell us, you shouldn't go over there, let it be. So the concept of what you saw from the first chapter, the concept of upeksha towards anything that is, that is not good. So this kind of thing, where you lead a regulated life, going to sleep about the same time, waking about the same time, and within your routine there, you have you shower at about the same time, and your eating habits, and then the daily remembrance of God in whatever way. This kind of living itself takes you into a zone, whereas you age, automatically the yogic experience start to come. In the Yoga Institute in Mumbai, they are considered the oldest, what will you say, registered yoga institute in the world. They will say Yama and Niyama alone is enough. But on the other hand, the other elements can help you further. But it is Yama and Yama which is the core of yoga.
The foundation.
Yes.
I also want you to focus on these two sutras, Dr. Rajan, the Anashtam Nashtam.
Yeah, the thinking of what is profitable or unprofitable is always there when you don't understand Swadharma. You're using your logical mind.
Antaratam Prati Anashtam Anashtam.
So normally people are thinking in logical terms. So whatever you're doing towards that, you're thinking, is this going to be useful, not useful for me, profitable, unprofitable? That is the normal way of thinking. And what happens is, the moment you're thinking in that kind of a worldly way, the concept of Swadharma has not hit you. And what happens is, when people are simply looking in those kind of ways, they may not even have a sense in terms of whether they're hurting another person or not, or, whether they will cheat people, others or whatever. So morally and legally and things, you will go in the wrong direction if you are only using what is what is meaningful for me without thinking about a larger context. So the concept of, that I am the one who is making myself, right? Whatever I do, that is what is Sutra number 23. The concept of I am the doer makes one thinks in terms of logically saying, I am doing whatever is meaningful for me, as useful or not useful, or profitable, not profitable, that kind of thinking, because the logical thinking comes from the sense it's my action that results in everything, and I am the doer. And this problem eventually gets into trouble, because you can do whatever you want. But you see, this is where in Bhagavad Gita, there is I believe it is in chapter 18 or so, where the concept is the fruit of action, or whatever you do, the results of the action are not simply governed by what you do. There is the divine intent also, what needs to be done. And so the real essence of yoga is the realization we are only instruments of the cosmic flow. Don't worry about the results. And here, when you become result focused, then you are in the worldly plane, because you are thinking I am the doer.
Namaste, Dr. Rajanji.
Namaste.
How will you know what is your Swadharma? Like, does each person's Swadharma different?
Of course, each person's Swadharma is definitely different. If you have children, you're a mom, your Swadharma towards your family and children is different from somebody who doesn't have children, right?
Right.
And so each of us are placed in a life where our roles in life are quite different. And in fact, what it is the earlier question you asked, how do you know what is my Swadharma? You don't have to go looking for your Swadharma. The Swadharma is always sitting in front of you. And the other part of it is, when the Swadharma is sitting in front of you, if your logical mind says, why am I doing this? And you don't feel like engaging with it, that is where the yogic connection will help you to understand why not, and all of that. But on the other hand, the thing is, for a person never needs to go and search for the Swadharma. In fact, all the doors of where you should be will easily open up. Where the doors don't open up easily, that is where there is a potential that area is not your Swadharma. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
You see, in one family, all the people over there are doctors associated with medicine and doctors, everybody. So this one boy in the family, right from young age, he is thinking, oh, everybody is a doctor, they're all making a lot of money. And so he thinks he also wants to become a doctor. But somehow, he never feels like applying, or applying on time, or whether, getting the admission things going or whatever. And by the time he applies, he goes into a lower level list, and he doesn't get admission in the US, but he goes into to Bahamas or somewhere to go and get a degree. Then he comes back. Actually, no. When he was in the final year in the Bahamas, he gets into a situation. I don't even remember whether he got his MD degree or not, but when he was there or whatever, he gets into a mental health situation where he is diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Hmm.
Do you know what is schizophrenia, people here? What are the symptoms of schizophrenia?
Yes, they speak to
Hallucinations.
themselves.
Yes. The significant key indicator is hallucination. Hallucination means they think they are seeing things that are not there. And this is considered very, very dangerous, hallucinations. Because if you start having hallucination, thinking of things that are there which are not there, you can do strange action that can be hurtful and damaging.
Hmm.
And so anybody who is diagnosed with schizophrenia will never be allowed to be in the field of medicine, because you can end up damaging a patient, killing the patient.
Mhm.
So this person was completely denied his medical degree. So this person is sitting over there and feeling very unhappy what to do, and the family consult me. And when we look at it, we find that this person's swadharma was never to go into medicine,
Hmm.
but he pushed in that direction. And remember, the doors did not open for him in the US. And therefore, he forced it out to go elsewhere, paying money. In Bahamas and places, if you have enough money, the doors open over there. So that's how he forced his way out. And so you see, this is the concept that we have to understand, where Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna that if you run away from the battlefield, you'll be going away from your swadharma.
Hmm.
So the concept of swadharma, of where you need to belong, the doors open easily. If that person had simply limited himself to US, the doors were not opening in the US. That was the signal telling you, don't go there. And of course, because the family has a lot of money and everybody, and he thinks this what he bought his seat in Bahamas.
So it's a very, I'm just relating this example to a lot of, things we happen in my own life, where people, I have also had this question, am I not trying enough? Is my effort not, it's where I'm going, or let me put it this way, like, is it like a laziness also can associate, right? How do we differentiate that laziness, meaning, am I trying enough? Rather than, like, I totally understand the one perspective where you're saying don't push if it is not meant for your dharma. But
Let's ask the question, how does laziness come?
Not
And
interested
probably
in
you are,
something.
when you go ahead.
Yeah, when you're not interested in something or
Lack of interest.
don't
Yeah.
feel like doing.
Don't want to do anything.
See, commonly when people talk of laziness, there are multiple considerations. One, you're not interested in something. The reason you may not be interested is because the mind is diverted into other things. The mind being diverted into other things, is it something that is, is it something that is going to be, what will I say? useful in some way, or are you wasting your time? I'll give you one example. The example is, I had an uncle who, right from young age, used to be a very socially minded person. And so this person, he would have a lot of friends all over and he would help everyone. Now, but his father wanted him to go into engineering and become an engineer, technology, and all of those things. So what happened is, no matter how much he got pushed, nothing was happening over there. Finally, the father decided, the reason you're not doing is because you're influenced by all these friends around, you're wasting your time with friends. And so he sent him away to another place where he doesn't know anyone. And he told him, you go over there and you do your career over there. Of course, the person did well. When I say well, reasonably well. The person was never fully happy. And what would happen is, the person's entire life became, he would help anyone, anywhere. That was his nature. In fact, when I look back, that person would have been an ideal politician.
Hmm.
You know, looking in terms of helping people and this thing kind of thing. But that person's father has a view, this is the right thing for you. Right? And pushing him in that direction. So any case, so this is where the indicators are there all over the place. But however, because people think in terms of logical reasoning, they always want to push their children in one direction or the other. And what happens is, when there is serious violation of Swadharma, it always leads to mental health problems. Mental health problems and autoimmune conditions arise from violation of Swadharma.
Coming back to that original question that Roma asked, like, how do we recognize our own dharma? Like, how do we?
I answered that question. It's there
Oh,
in front of you
by
all the time.
observing, okay, by observing the.
See, what happens is, think of it this way. You know, you're getting ready to work, right? And right at that time, your child is there, you know, running for something, falls and hurts her leg. Where is your Swadharma? To take care of your child, or have to go to work?
Okay.
Now what happens? Typically, a normal logical person's reaction is, oh, I have a meeting over there, I have to be there at such and such time. Why did this child find this time to go and fall? That's what you're thinking in your head, right? But, excuse me. But the real answer is, by Swadharma, the cosmos didn't want you to go there. You know what you have to take care of. Now, when I say this, the presumption is that your wife was not at home to take care of the child. Otherwise, if that is the case, then it may be her Swadharma. But on the other hand, anytime when you're not supposed to do something, something will come in the way, don't go there. Swadharma is always standing in front of you. And if we do the Swadharma without complaints or reservations in the mind, that will absolve you of all the karma kleshas within. Excuse me 1 second, I'm sneezing too much.
Think we should not think that Swadharma means only one. It is a changing thing. There could be one major Swadharma, and then there could be variations to that depending on the situation you are in on a day-to-day basis or a moment-to-moment basis.
But our decisions will be based on the profit and loss again, like same scenario, like, oh, if I don't attend this, what happens to my future, my job? So
No, that is survival-oriented.
survival-oriented decisions, yeah.
Yes. That is not cosmic, that is not being in the cosmic flow of things. That is that profit and loss calculation.
So those things will not come
I think
under
it is the
category.
basic true characteristic of the self, right?
Yes.
Which is coherent with the cosmic decisions. I think leaving the cosmic decisions aside, it's a true characteristic is what Swadharma is, isn't it?
No, but the thing is, Swadharma is understood easier when you understand I am not this body, I am not the doer. The moment you think I am this body, I am the one who makes everything happens, you're unlikely to recognize Swadharma. So think of it. I gave that example. The child fell and hurt herself, and you're just leaving for a meeting, right? So from your perspective, I am the doer, I have to make that meeting. It is important because that is how, that is the responsibility related to my work, whatever, right? Then in which case, at the moment you realize I'm only an instrument of the cosmic flow, then you realize within yourself the right thing for me to do is to take care of my child. So you make a phone call to your workplace and say, sorry, I have an emergency over here. I can't, I won't be able to make the meeting. I will let you know when I'll be free from this emergency, and then you go what you have to do, right?
Namaste, doctor.
Namaste.
Sutra number 16 and 17, can you please? Heyam dukkam
Let me bring
anagatam. Heyam dukkam anagatam.
Yes, heyam is to oppose, dukkham is what dukkha that comes, anagatam. So what happens is, the wise person understands, and this comes again from the flow of the previous sutras, right?
Yes.
So what happens is, in the previous sutras, you understand that it is the karmas you create by your reactions, which is what is the cause of everything. And so your desire in 16 is you want to oppose the misery that is going to come in the future. And how do you oppose that? By not reacting right now to all the interactions that you're having. So that is all there is, the heyam dukkam anagatam. So you cannot, as I say again and again, don't read this sutra by sutra. Read them in paragraph.
The next one too, doctor.
Okay,
the next two actually.
The cause of the of the reason why you react is because you associate yourself with whatever you're observing. Drashya drishyoho sanyogo heya hetuhu. The cause is because you associate yourself with what you're observing, and that's what makes you react, which creates the karma. And the thing is, what are the different ways in which you can observe, anything that you see. Prakasha means in an enlightened way. Kriya means in an active, dynamic way. Sthiti means in a inert way. These are Shilam. These are the three ways in which you can react. And it can be with respect to the material and the senses, sense organs and all of that within you. And when all of these, the way in which you associate yourself with anything, with your body, mind, inner senses in one of these ways, when the experience of that, how you interact with something, there is no more meaning established in it. If you have no more, what will I say? If you don't relate to whatever you see, then in which case it ceases to have any meaning. That is the idea of being a pure observer without reacting. That is what Sutra number 18 is telling you, that it is when you observe something, you observe in so many different ways, in a enlightened way, with a highly dynamic way, or a less reactive way, all of these things with your body and mind and feeling it within. But then whatever you observe, you don't associate anything with it. You make it apavarga, that is unclassifiable. That is how you look at it. Then in which case it becomes pure observation without associating yourself with what you observe.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Doctor, you said mental health conditions and autoimmune conditions arise out of violations of Swadharma. So the chemical imbalances that follow is due to the violations of Swadharma, or?
Say that again.
The chemical, in the medical world, they say it's due to the chemical imbalances, right? So do you think the violations of Swadharma is what that causes the chemical imbalance?
That is right. Let's ask the other question. You know, when you're feeling happy, all your biochemicals are all okay. When you feel depressed, all the unwanted biochemicals come on, right?
Correct.
From a medical profession perspective, they don't know the causation. All they know is the correlation, right?
Okay. Right.
Actually, if you talk to psychiatrists who have been in practice for 50 years, at the age of 70, 75, when they look back in their life, they say, you know, people never really understood, modern day approach to psychiatry fails to realize that you're not providing a long-term solution for the person. Actually, today's thinking among very wise psychiatrists who have seen a lot of things is that the right approach to deal with people is what is called cognitive behavioral therapy. That is, learn people to react differently.
Correct. Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
So biochemicals, anybody who talks about biochemicals don't realize they are not the cause.
Okay. And is purpose of life and Swadharma connected, or?
Of course.
The purpose of life, according to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we say that we have to let the karma and klesha cycle flow through us.
Without reacting.
Without reacting, okay.
And that's the same message Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, do your job, don't react.
Okay, but in the common world, the purpose of life, they define it as something else, right? I don't understand what it, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm confused here.
I don't know how they define it in common life.
Like,
Common life is go make money, make property.
what is the purpose of life? Each person has a purpose, so a meaningful life, like something all they say, like each person has a purpose, but maybe not money, maybe something more than
No,
that.
but in the material world, they'll say you have to be successful. Successful means you have to have a certain status in life, either in terms of power or money or whatever. That is what the material world will tell you.
See, Uma, the concept that you're saying, if the common view of purpose of life is other than what is material, then in which case we can say it is equal to Swadharma. Remember, in Swadharma, you have to engage with the world. And if you say you have a special purpose in your life, yes, that is your Swadharma. As long as it is not driven by a logical sense of, profit and loss and that kind of a thing.
Go ahead, Kranti, you have a question.
Oh, that means revolution. Go ahead.
Yeah. Namaste, Dr. Rajan.
Namaste.
Thank you for bringing up the word Swadharma, because I think it's something which we need to be reminded every 60 minutes to just check where we are. My question is there any Swadharma relating to the food? The basic activity is food.
Yes.
If we are eating something which we are not used to, and because of this food culture has become a global thing, we eat everything these days. So how does that act on our mind, and which can actually lead into this autoimmune diseases, whatever you are saying?
Very simple. If you look at a food, if you taste a little bit of it and doesn't feel it's right for you, don't eat it. In fact, it is not the food alone. It is the person who made it. Everything has an effect on it. In fact, what will happen is you would have come across, upma is a very common thing. You would have come across upma in so many different places. And all the places they have put the same ingredient. And there are some places you eat the upma and you feel there is nothing over here. And other places you eat it and you feel, oh, this is just the right thing, right? So it is not just a question of, when a person makes that upma with a lot of care over there, with a lot of love and care and this thing, automatically the food tastes very different. And if it is done, oh, the person is in a hurry, all these people are waiting, I don't know why I have to do the cooking, and here it is, throw all of this and make it, that's what it feels like. So it's not the food alone, the nature of the food. It is the whole contextual thing, and you can sense the moment you put it into your mouth or even you look at it, people will sense it. If it's not right for you, you should walk away. It's time for me to leave. So we'll keep that as the last question. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Namaste, Dr. Rajan. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sir.
See you all next week. Namaste.
Namaste, Kumar.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.